Good morning. Today we're going to talk about the 7E section, and that's called permutations and combinations. When we get to those, I will spell them out for you. But first, let's practice on our calculators, okay? I will demonstrate on both calculators. So here is the first. You have to push. We want the exclamation point right here. The exclamation point says to you, factorial. And a factorial, for instance, 5 factorial means 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. It's from the number on down. So you could do it yourself, but your calculator will do it for you. So you push 5, and on the big calculator, you push math, slide, slide, slide on over to prob. And then you notice the first one is random, the second one is a P, the third one is a C, and the fourth one is the exclamation point. So you push that, and your display should now say 5 exclamation point, push enter, and you get 120. So that is 5 factorial. Okay, on the smaller calculator, it's a little bit easier. We go 5, and then the factorial, see this prob key, PRB, push it, you get the P first, the C second, and the factorial third. Push it, and you see in the display it says 5 factorial, push enter, and you get 120. Okay. These problems are examples of work with factorials. 8 factorial divided by 4 factorial is 1680. 5 factorial times, now you can put in the time sign or not, times 4 factorial divided by 3 factorial is 480. Okay, now the last one is the tricky one. I want you to try it on your own and see if you get the correct answer of 480. Okay? I think, oh, I'm sorry, 1280. I'm sorry, 280. Got my numbers mixed up. 280, okay? Now, if you do it incorrectly, you will get, and this is a very common mistake, 180. 100,000, I'm sorry, 10,080, okay? And how do you get that? How do you get it wrong? By not putting in parentheses. You must have parentheses on the bottom because it's a 2-piecer. Now on the top, you may have parentheses, but you don't have to have them. Okay? If you don't get the right problems, please send them. Okay? But you have to do your own parentheses on the bottom. All right. So now we're going to talk about today's lesson of permutations and combinations, right? So there are 4 people in the class: Abigail, Betsy, Charlie, and David, right? And I say to those 4 people, I'd like you to go out in the hall 2 at a time and discuss the class, okay? So these are the 2 at a times: Abigail and Betsy, Abigail and Charlie, Abigail and David, Betsy and Charlie, Betsy and David, Charlie and David, okay? So we have found that there are 3, 4, 5, 6 groups, okay? We don't care what order they went into the hallway. Okay, but now I say, I'd like these 4 people to go out in the hall 2 at a time, but this time the first person in the hall gets an A, And the second person into the hall gets a C. So at this point, Abigail is getting an A and Betsy is getting a C. But Betsy doesn't like that, so she says, wait a minute, I want to be first. Betsy's first and Abigail is second. So now, based on this one, we have two groups, A to B and B to A. Here we have Abigail getting an A and Charlie getting a C. Charlie doesn't like that, so he turns around and says, we're going to reverse it. Okay? Abigail and David doesn't like that, so he reverses it. Okay? So now we have these three and these three. These two and these two. This one and this one. Okay? So this one is, you don't care what order they go into the hall. And this one is, you do care about the order. Okay? So, if you do care about the order, you have the original 6 and the new 6, and that's 12. Now, it doesn't always double like that. It's doubling because we're talking about 2 people going into the hall at a time. Okay? This problem, where we don't care about the order, is called a combination. C-O-M-B-I-N-A-T-I-O-N. Combination. This, where we do care about the order, order matters, is called a permutation. P-E-R-M-U-T-A-T-I-O-N. Permutation. Permutation, order matters. Combination, order doesn't matter. Very important to note that. Both of these new items, combination and permutations, have no repeats. None. So, for instance, a repeat would be Abigail, Abigail. Obviously, that's not 2 different people, and they're not going out in the hall together. So, we are getting close to me taking a break and getting ready to erase the board. So, combinations, order does not matter. Permutations, order does matter. The next thing we're going to do is do them on the calculator. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, now we're going to do these same problems on our calculator because we don't want to be writing these out each time, especially if it was 4 people taking 3 at a time. That would be very tedious. So, on the big calculator, we're going to do combination first. We have 4 people combined 2 at a time. Okay? So, on your calculator, you push 4, turn it on, 4, and then you're going to hit the math key, slide, slide, slide to probability. Now we want this NCR. So we're coming down to, you still with me? Pushing enter, and now your display should say 4 space NCR space and 2. Push enter, and it gives you 6. All right? So that would be the work you would show for this problem. This equation, 4C26. We do not write NCR. We do not. That's calculator talk. Do not write that. You just write C2. Now this one, we're going to take 4, but because the order matters, we're going to permute it 2 at a time. So again, on the big calculator, I'll do the little calculator next. We're going to do 4, math, slide, slide, slide. Come on down to the P, that's just down 1. Hit enter, and then the 2, and answer. is 12. Okay, now let me do it with the smaller calculator, which is easier because the menu isn't buried. Okay, we have, I'm going to do the combination first. For this prob key, okay, and I see the NPR is underlined, so we slide one to the NCR, push it, then hit the 2 and enter. 6. Now for the NPR, we put the 4, prob, it underlines right away at NPR, and I push enter. My display should say 4 NPR, and then I push 2 and enter, and I get 12, okay? So now, you're not really going to be showing that much work. You're certainly not going to be showing this kind of stuff. You're just going to be showing this equation. And that's the important stuff, part of this assignment, okay? I do want you to try this. 2C4, okay? This will say there are 2 people in question. I want those 2 people to go out in the hall 4 at a time. That's impossible. So you're going to have a 0 there. Okay? Then I want you to try 4C4. And you should get 1. This is 4 people go out in the hall 4 at a time. There's only one way to do that. But check out this. 4P4, when the order matters, and that's going to make a big difference, okay? So I want you to check these out for yourself, get 0, get 1, get whatever, okay? I'm going to set up for the next problem, and I'm probably going to have to start a new video, so there'll be a couple of parts.